Hey everyone, welcome. Here we are in 2026 when wireless droppers like the Axis Reverb behind me are all the rage. There's multiple vendors, there's many options. The only problem with them is that they're heavy, they're expensive. So in this video, let's talk about what options we have for lighter, reliable, cheaper droppers for a lighter bike build. And that lighter bike build is going to be this Specialized Epic 8 that I'm building for my son. This is going to be a light trail bike given the storage in the frame, but this is also going to be used as a race bike from time to time. So my main criteria for a bike like this, it's going to be 1, lightweight, 2, the amount of drop, 3, it's going to be reliability, and maybe 4, price. But if you think of the first 2, you can see how the wireless droppers, the electronic droppers, they kind of not fit in because they're definitely not light, and they're quite expensive. They're just hard to fix. If you need anything, you keep adding to that list. So that kind of convinced me that I have to look deeper into the options for mechanical dropper posts available to us today. And I've been playing with this BikeYoke because yes, I've had one. I don't have the Divine anymore because this was stolen with the bike. But so I have that experience in mind. We've used Fox transfers, and yes, they do have the SL. I'll talk about that in a second. I have quite a few PNW dropper posts, and they are on generation 2 right now on the Loam. That's the one that we've been using. I've almost used the OneUp at some point, but not for any duration. And then finally, the kind of unknown TurnOn Bunker dropper post. Believe it or not, we're still using a couple of these. And I'm showing you these two, the OneUp and the TurnOn droppers, because these are the two that I decided are worth considering for my bike. So let's take a closer look, see what they're about. And then by the end of it, I'll give you my decision on which one I'm going to go with. Here's the two droppers out of the box, and I'm going to leave the remotes out of this discussion, probably do a video about that later. If you look here at the back of the OneUp, you see that I got the 30.9 millimeter diameter post. It so happens that that's what I need for most of my bikes, but if I didn't, I would still use the 30.9 with a shim. You can always shim it to 34.9 as well. What is here is a silicoleum type of grease, and these are the 10 millimeter travel reducer for the OneUp. This is a 180, as you could see over here, but you have the ability to easily, or kind of easily, reduce the travel by just using those pins. This one is 30.9, and it is a 160 millimeter dropper. Remember, this is version 2, this is version 3, and all that information is here on the tube itself. But if you put these two side by side, you're going to see that from a length standpoint, they're pretty much the same. So the bottom tube is the same, which is pretty impressive for OneUp. Being able to give you an extra 20 millimeter of drop. However, the design of the two is very different. At the bottom of the OneUp, you can see that actuator. There's even a hole in there because it needs air to go in and out. This is based on a cheap sealed cartridge. So if I remove the seat clamp here, you'll see that there's no way to adjust the pressure in the dropper whatsoever. This is actually quite sophisticated and is built similar to a Reverb. It has 2 chambers, and the big advantage of this is that the bottom here is pretty much sealed. So if you're riding in muddy, nasty conditions, this dropper is not going to suck dirt and debris in the down tube, whereas any other dropper like this one, it's gonna do that. What that means is that you can extend the actual service time for something like this We have never serviced the version 1 of these dropper posts, and these were used on race bikes, so they've seen a lot of use. If you go here in the box, this is stanchion lube, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I highly recommend you guys to use that on the droppers and your suspension. I don't know what type of lube is here, but I appreciate that. They also give you a little manual here that doesn't exist on the OneUp. I assume these guys are confident that everybody's gonna go to their website and find all the information there. For instance, here they cover how to install those travel reducers, the 10 millimeters, and you can see there's quite a few steps, so understand what that implies. But if you need to reduce travel on the fly, I would recommend you guys look at PNW. They have a very slick system in which you just open up the top collar, then you rotate this plastic piece, and that's how you pretty much adjust the travel of the dropper post. In contrast, bunker can only be adjusted in 5 millimeter increments, but at the factory you have to order it like that. Number one, we talked about lightweight. I'll put them on a scale in a second. Number two, I talked about the drop. Bunker only goes up to 190 millimeters. If you want that ginormous 240 millimeter drop, obviously OneUp, it's gonna be a no-brainer. When it comes to reliability, I don't have any experience with OneUp version 3, but if you read reviews, everybody's raving about it. As for the turn-on dropper, there's not that many reviews out there, even though they had an article on Pink Bike last year, so I guess they got some visibility. But if you were to believe our experience, again, I've had the 125 and 160 in use ever since I reviewed this dropper a few years ago, and they've been working just fine. The only issue that they try to fix with this version 2, it's a little bit of display back and forth at full extension is not really felt when riding, and you don't really have to worry about it because that was solved in this version 2 of their dropper post. Let me put them on the scale because that was one of the main criteria though. So OneUp 180, Bunker 160, this is PNW 170 old version. Let me start with this. And you can see 537 grams. This is a 30.9 as well. This is supposed to be 460 grams. And here it is, it's 470 on my scale. And bunker, this is supposed to be 475. And here we go, it's 471. So weight-wise, there's no difference between these two. Side by side, if you imagine inserting them the same amount into the frame, you can see they would stick out the same amount pretty much, bunker and OneUp, but obviously OneUp is going to have 20 millimeter more drop by default. And stack height is pretty much the same. OneUp has 30 millimeters, this one has 33, and here's the PNW that doesn't provide you that low stack height. You can see the difference right here. And if we bring back into discussion the BikeYoke and the Fox dropper, you're gonna see that BikeYoke doesn't give you that much travel. Fox doesn't give you that much drop for the 30.9 that I needed. And Fox, it's a mechanical dropper, so fully up, fully down. And that pretty much leaves us again with these three. And I did eliminate the PNW Loam version 2 because the weight of that 175 is what they would have was 525 grams. But hey, they do come in silver, eh? Anybody got one of those? I would be curious to hear. So going back to these two, these are very, very similar droppers. They offer the same weight like you saw. Pricing is very similar, especially if you look at that 20% discount on the Bunker website right now. And that's the reason why these were my top two contenders. What am I going to install on that bike? I'm almost tempted to say wait and see, but I am pretty sure that what I'm going to go with is going to be the Bunker, only because of their reliability and my experience with them, and because right here under the seat clamp, you have a shredder valve, and that allows me to actually adjust the pressure in the cartridge so it's easier to push down as opposed to the OneUp, which is a fixed, again, it's a sealed cartridge. There's nothing you can adjust here. This gives you more flexibility in that regard, and also it has the sealed tube at the bottom, so I don't have to worry about it when dealing with nasty conditions, especially if you saw my Epic 8 frame review and you are familiar with all the various holes in that carbon frame from brand new. So what do you guys think? What would you go for if you're interested in one of the lightest droppers in the market with the most drop? Would you go for Bunker, the kind of unknown North America? Would you go for OneUp? What kind of dropper do you use? What kind of remote do you use with these droppers? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Yes, I'm building that bike. You're gonna be able to see it very soon. But until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Till next time, see you guys on the trails. Cheers, guys. Cheers.